As I was working on this talk, I came across an interesting statistic. 100% of all people are going to die someday. Now, I'm not trying to be depressing. I'm saying it to make the point that that's part of the circle of life, and yet we are so hesitant to discuss end-of-life issues. So for a few minutes tonight, can we talk about our quality of death as the extension of our quality of life? And I'd like to do that by telling you an oddly uplifting story about a woman named Dolly, my mother, and her decision to positively influence her final months by using New Jersey's medical aid in dying law to leave this world with dignity and sass. To understand Dolly's decision, it helps to understand Dolly. She was smart, practical, decisive, affectionate, but not overly sentimental. She was a relentless flirt, but a faithful wife. She was, all of those things, and she'd never hesitate to say, "I love you." Her story in a nutshell: she was 21 years old when her husband was killed in World War II, just 3 months after their son was born. She moved back home with her parents so they could help raise Mike while she finished her college degree. She later met my father, they married, and they had 5 daughters. At age 46, Dolly went back to school while she had 3 school-age children still at home, and she got her master's degree in library science while living in the dorm. She built her career, think about that. She built her career in West Virginia, directing the library services for the prison systems and for the blind and physically handicapped. She and my father moved to Florida for a while, but ultimately settled in New Jersey. And they lived and laughed and fussed and aged. And my father was 10 years her senior, and so at age 98, he went into a nursing home and died a few months later. In a way, Dolly bloomed in her independence. She got to know the names and the life stories of all of the staff members, and she was always at the ready with a hug or a piece of candy. And she adopted pink as her favorite color. At age 92, Dolly was diagnosed with breast cancer. Treatment staved off for a while, and my husband and I offered for her to come and live with us if she got to a point where she couldn't live alone. But she was fine right where she was. And at her 95th birthday party, when someone asked her advice for a long life, she said, "Always be in control." At age 96, scans showed the cancer had spread. On a family phone conference, her doctor explained to us that her hip was nearly gone and that soon it would collapse, and she would be permanently on pain meds and immobile, suffering while the cancer finished her off. She said, "That is not how I want to go. I have looked into New Jersey's medical aid in dying law, and I want to go while I still have some control." We listened as the doctor explained what that meant, and we understood it was Dolly's decision, and we respected it. I circled back around to her to talk to her about her living situation again. Her comment here is important. She said, "I couldn't come live with you in Maryland because your state doesn't have a law that gives me the option to die with dignity. And we don't. 11 other states and DC do. Laws that allow a terminally ill, mentally sound adult, to decide for themselves when enough is enough. Despite 70% of Marylanders are being in favor of this law, we can't get it passed because year after year it keeps getting pushed aside, which is fine until it's you or someone you love in that situation." But let me finish Dolly's story. So the next few months were terrible, wonderful, all of the above. We started taking turns staying with her while she was becoming more frail. And as I brought up the topic of her funeral one day, she said, "Do we have to wait until I'm dead to have it? I want to be there." And so we did. So 2 months later, stop. 2 months later, we had a service of celebration for her at the church, followed by a luncheon where she invited her doctor to stop in. And when he walked in, we applauded him. The next day, weary but still in charge, Dolly began her next adventure. She got to choose to spend her final days engaged with the people she loved in a joyful environment. Wouldn't we all want to have a choice like that? Yes. If you would like more information about this or to read about the laws on the books or the laws that are being proposed, those 2 websites are a great resource. Let's start treating our quality of death like the final phase of our quality of life. Thank you.